Hey gang, I was gonna start today's podcast by doing a little rap song, but I couldn't figure out what to write about. At first I was like, I'll write about mutants, then maybe I was thinking maybe it could be about turtles. I thought ninjas might be cool, but that all sounded confusing and weird. Anyway, have you heard how to make a ninja laugh? With a punchline. Welcome to Head Games.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. My name is the Zombie Apocalypse, and when I'm in New York eating some pizzas with turtles, they call me Ninja Steve.
Hey there, friends and opponents. I'm Jetterx, and while I don't have a Renaissance artist name, I do like pizza, which I think makes me an expert on this subject. In the sewers, I'm known by my ninja name, which is Tim.
You know, we are both experts on pizza. We made them for a very long time.
It's true. Our viewers don't know this about this, but pizza is literally how we met.
Yes. Oh my God.
So
we are Ninja Turtles.
Connection to this subject. We might be Ninja Turtles.
Oh my God. That's amazing. Thank you for joining us today on the Head Games Commander podcast, where we spotlight some of our favorite commanders from Magic the Gathering. But before we get started, I need your help. Okay. I heard every time a like button is hit, a turtle is covered in ooze. And then every time the subscriber hits, they mutate into something awesome. So we need your help to save New York. Hit that like and subscribe button. Anyway, so Tim, who are we shining our spotlight on today?
So if you haven't guessed already, there's a new set in Magic the Gathering, and it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And whatever you have to say about that, we do get some new commanders from the set, and we like to build at least one new commander whenever we get a new set, and this time we built Splinter Radical Rat. In this episode, we'll describe the deck strategy, we'll talk about what we love about the commander, highlight some of our favorite cards, as you know that we love to do.
So, today's deck was built by our good friend, Tim. It is from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles main set. So, who is the commander, and what is your bracket talk about him?
So, Splinter Radical Rat is a 3-mana mutant ninja rat, surprising no one. He is a 2/4. He reads, if an ability of a ninja creature you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. He costs 1 and 2 hybrid white and black, and then he also has an ability in his box that is 1 and a blue. Target ninja can't be blocked this turn. So that actually makes his color identity Esper, or blue, white, and black, which is really what makes this a different ninja commander than what we have seen in the past, because we get to kind of add a different color combination. We've seen blue black a bunch of different times. We've seen even Sultai, where you can add green with the like toad ninja. I'm not sure, the card is escaping me, but this color combination is kind of unique, and I'm not sure that we've had the opportunity to do this before. With the new set, it presents a whole bunch of really fun opportunities for deck building. So as far as my bracket talk, my rule zero. So I traditionally, building new decks, try to keep it slim on game changers unless there's one that really synergizes. And in this case, there's none in the initial list. It's definitely like scientifically a 3. But it has a lot of very powerful cards. It sits in this place where we often live. That is, the synergy is very high. The land base is really good. The power of the cards that I'm playing is very strong. So it does punch up a little bit, but it doesn't have any game changers. I think it has very limited tutors, although it does have some, and it doesn't necessarily have anything you would consider to be an infinite combo. So I think it lives in the 3 range, but definitely punches up.
Yeah, I mean, that also has to deal with just the skill of the player too, right? Like, you can have a random pile of 99 cards, and as long as there's some sort of synergy put together or some sort of plan, if you draw the right pieces and can organize your cards in the right way where it seems like it's better than it really is. Like it just there's a lot to the bracket talk that's uh it's kind of hard to describe what it's going to be.
And really, I think that what I just said is actually a fair representation of what I would say, I would say at an actual table, which is to say that, like, if we were breaking it down to just the very the details of what we know the brackets to mean, it doesn't have any game changers in it. It doesn't have any infinite combos. Doesn't have any mass land denial. Doesn't take any extra turns. Like a lot of those check boxes that make something considered to be more powerful, it really doesn't meet those qualities. So I think that, especially since we had the first change in brackets that kind of pushed like 2 down a little bit and made 3 a little bit stronger, I'm more confident in putting this in a 3. But in the hands of a skilled pilot, yes, this deck is very, very strong. And if you know what the lines are, if you know how to get where the deck wants to go, it can become incredibly explosive, like any good commander deck, I would say.
So speaking about how strong this deck is, we're going to go ahead and dive straight into the strengths and weaknesses. And one of the strengths that I think this deck is, the commander is sneakily good, and there was a pun intended in there. He doesn't do much the turn that you play him, but that's what makes it that much better. And having that, like the ability triggers an additional time in your command zone means you're going to see it every game. And it turns out ninjas are just good. They do a lot of really cool things. And I want you to think of every single ninja that we talk about. Think about it triggering twice, because the likelihood of that happening is very high.
Right.
And the whole unblockable thing, making a target ninja can't be blocked this turn, like guarantees you the ninja that you need to get through.
And I think that's an excellent point. Like having that hat built into the command zone means that when you're piloting the deck, you can kind of ask yourself that question: is getting to triggers of whatever the creature is that I'm going to get in worth spending 2 mana to do? And I think as you start to hear some of the list, you'll think to yourself, well, absolutely it is. Would I pay 2 mana to draw an additional card this turn? In a lot of turns, the answer is yes. But the question is really, would I pay 2 mana to draw 2 additional cards this turn? And then the answer is emphatically yes.
Yeah, the card's really, really good. So and the cool thing about this is I feel like the first ninja deck that wasn't Yuriko that feels like it was designed to be a ninja deck.
Yeah.
Like, because Yuriko has the same feel, but it just ends games too quickly. So having a lower power level commander allows you to have more fun and play the weirder ninjas and stuff like that. So I really enjoy it. I will say we're going to go ahead and go into the weaknesses now. And one of the weaknesses of this deck is, man, board wipes will destroy you, especially multiple board wipes. Because you need creatures to get your game plan through. And if they keep getting removed, you're not going to do much. And yeah, it's tough. But if you play your cards right, like, a cool thing about this deck is you can kind of sandbag a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to just drop every single ninja you have in play every turn. You can just, okay, 1 getting through is enough. I get the value that I need. I don't look as scary. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, bleh.
Yeah, and it's not a big deal that I'm holding up 2 or 3 empty mana here in this XX blue deck.
Right.
Yeah, it's not a big deal that I'm holding up this 2 or 3 mana. That doesn't mean anything, does it?
Don't worry about it. Oh God, I hate when people tell me not to worry about it, because it just drives me insane. So Tim, let's go ahead and go into your strengths and weaknesses of the deck.
You made some excellent points. I really think, yeah, and you actually even made me think a little bit more about like that the benefit of a deck like this. And we're going to make a lot of comparisons to Yorico today, being a pretty significant card that people are used to playing against. So much so that I want to talk about it right now. Like, so Yorico's a blue and a black for a 1/3. It's got Commander Ninjutsu. It was from a couple, quite a while ago now, but it's so well known in the format that people are used to playing against it, and it is seen as an incredibly strong commander that people would see in your command zone and go, that's clearly a strong deck here, right? And Yuriko's 100% in the 99,
Mhm.
like, and it always should be, because it's not that expensive of a card to own in paper, and it definitely synergizes remarkably well with Splinter. But the fact that Yuriko, I want to finish it off. When Yuriko reads, whenever a ninja you control deals combat damage to a player, you reveal the top card to your library and put it into your hand. Each opponent loses life equal to the card's mana value. So it's drawing you cards, but it's also burning your opponents out while you're doing it.
So crazy.
So it's so strong, and if you build around that as your commander, you can play a lot of high mana value spells, etc., etc. Like it is a very, very strong commander by itself. So it being in the 99 and Splinter being in the command zone means that people are going to be a little less prepared for how to deal with this deck, and they might under threat assess you. So if they're
Mhm.
used to seeing Dimir ninjas, they are not. There are going to be cards in the deck that they're not expecting. Since you are able to add white, you've got a couple of tricks up your sleeve that
Mhm.
they may not think about. And what you made me think about as a strength is that if you have Splinter on the field and it makes something unblockable, and they're thinking to themselves, oh, he's going to get in and get a little bit of ninja value here. I really think that people are disincentivized to interact with that early on. Like, they're probably going to let you get the value because they're like, you're not going to win right now, right?
Right.
So you like you said, you can kind of incrementally gain value over time until you have that one explosive turn where you really take over the game. So I think that the new commander, coupled with a color they're not used to seeing in a deck like this, coupled with the way that the line of play works in this deck, because you're not ninjaing in your commander and getting an extraordinary amount of value immediately. You're just probably attacking with a harmless little guy and get it, and they don't know what you're going to ninja in because it's not your commander. So the deck restores the kind of sneaky benefit that ninjas were always meant to have, because you're not ninjaing your commander and out of the command zone.
There's one
So
more strength that I kind of want to mention here real quick before we
yeah,
jump
go
on to the
ahead.
next one. So, when I was playing against this, I saw that you had the 2 mana open, and I'm playing Garth where I can instantly play creatures and stuff because Vidalcanori is awesome. And I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to waste my mana playing my creature because he can just make it unblockable anyway. So you got free unblockable on
Mm.
me because I was like, he has the mana, he'll just do it anyway. So you got his ability for free, even though you didn't have to. Like,
So it
it
changed your
changed what I
line.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're thinking to yourself, it's not enough of a benefit to me to put this blocker out, because he's just going to make the blocker is not going to stop Tim from getting the value that he
Yep.
wants to get if he really wants to get it. So it's not getting me enough of a, it's not slowing him down enough to make it
Yep.
worth it. That is very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing that I wanted to say is that the way that this deck is built, and it's probably true about other like Ninja Kindred decks, is that it's just highly synergistic. Like, they really are meant to work together. So once you have a kind of critical mass of ninjas in your hand and in play, and you're doing the kind of ninja shuffle, well, you get some amazing synergies. And it's definitely true about a lot of the new cards that TMNT gave us, is that they're creating some very interesting new value synergies based on how Sneak and Ninjutsu work together. So I think that like that level of synergy makes for a lot of fun gameplay, but also a lot of powerful gameplay. And in terms of weaknesses, we ended up coming up with a pretty similar list of weaknesses for the deck. It's a creature-based deck. And not only do I need creatures, I need combat.
Mhm.
to move the game plan forward. I need combat damage to move the game plan forward. So things like propaganda and ghostly prison really impact this deck. And
Mhm.
while it does add white, so it's capable of removing any kind of permanent, it's still a pain in the butt. Like those kind of enchantments are difficult for the deck to deal with because there's a finite number of enchantment removal spells in the deck. So those are going to be very effective against this strategy because having to pay extra for to attack, that is literally how I move my game plan
Yep.
forward. So anything that fogs are going to be really effective against it as well. So
Silent
those are all
Arbiter, you
vulnerable.
got
Just so.
Fate Spinner.
Yeah. Like, and did you just describe half of your deck list?
Whoops.
um, and the other part is that like the creatures are generally small. So
Yeah.
I'm not good at playing defense. Like if I have my creatures out, like I can have a whole bunch of creatures out, and if somebody's playing big green stompy and big anything stompy, I'm not going to be able to put up a good defense against it.
No.
So like my creatures are getting into attack. They are not really going to play good defense. So against larger creature decks, I would probably be on my back foot against those as well.
Yeah, I could see that being a trouble for you, especially anything with trample. Alrighty, so now we're going to go into one of my favorite parts. We're going to go into the basics. And what the basics are the standard like categories in each commander deck that every commander deck wants and needs to have. So Tim, why don't you go ahead and tell us what the categories are and how many in each of those categories you have?
Here are the basics. So for card draw, we've got 12. For ramp, we've got 11. For single targeted interaction, we've got 14. And for mass interactions, we've got 6. So most people are going to understand what each of those things mean. We do kind of fuzz these categories in some sense. Like sometimes we stretch for card draw, although not in this deck. Sometimes we stretch for ramp, but like this deck was very clear on what counted as ramp and what doesn't. There's nothing there aren't very many things in here that are kind of like this is a question mark. Does this really count or not? There are some things that allow you to kind of get mana advantage, but they're not actually giving you mana, so we don't count those things. Single targeted interaction is really anything that's interacting with your opponent's board and disrupting them. So lots of things count in this category. Counter spells count. Single targeted destruction counts. Even removing an opponent's graveyard would be on that list as well if it were in the deck. And then mass interaction can mean a lot of things as well. Often it will mean board wipes. Sometimes it will mean spells that protect my board or keep people from interacting. Not necessarily a counter spell, but something that will give all your creatures protection. Things like that count as mass interaction as well. So now we'll go through and talk about each category, and we each picked a card from the basics category, and we'll talk a little bit about why we think it's a good choice for this deck. And so our first category is card draw.
So the card that I picked for it is probably one of my favorite Kindred cards of all times. It is Kindred Discovery. It is a 5 mana enchantment, 3 and 2 blue. As Kindred Discovery enters the battlefield, choose Ninja. And whenever a creature you control of the chosen type enters the battlefield or attacks, draw a card. And here's what I like about this card a lot. Okay, so you declare your attacker, and if it happens to be a ninja, like with all the changelings you have or what have you, and 90% of your creatures are ninjas anyway, you draw a card for it attacking, you sneak or ninja something in, and draw another card. So you're getting 2 cards off for the price of 1, essentially. And that's for each one. So you're going to be drawing a lot of cards. And it's going to be a lot. And it's going to be devastating. And I'm going to cry myself to sleep now.
Yeah, this one is built for Kindred decks, right? Says it right there in the name, right? Like they did this whole cycle around that time where there was a number of spells that started with the word Kindred, and they care about creature types, and in this case, they make a lot of sense in this list. Because ninja is not something like there's a chance, frankly, that there's another ninja deck at your pod, but it's unlikely. You know, especially now. Like right now, in this moment, It is more likely that you're going to be playing against another ninja deck than it ever will be in the future. 5 months, 6 months down the road, that's going to
Right.
evaporate. So ninja decks are going to go back to being right as niche as they used to be. So in that case, like any of the kindred spells are going to be powerful, and this one in particular, who doesn't love to draw more cards?
Alrighty. What's your card, Tim?
Okay, my card draw spell is Satoru the Infiltrator. So this is one and a blue. I'm sorry, a blue and a black, 2 mana for a 2/3 legendary human ninja rogue. It has menace, and it reads: whenever Satoru the Infiltrator and or one or more other non-token creatures enter the battlefield under your control, if none of them were cast or no mana was spent to cast them, draw a card. I know that that is a lot of words. It is actually much simpler than it sounds. So it's basically if a creature on your side enters and it wasn't cast, you didn't pay mana for it, you're probably going to draw a card. There's a couple of other hoops to jump through, and one of them is if you're doing mass reanimation, if you brought your whole graveyard back at the same time, the one or more clause would catch this, and you would only get one card. But every time you ninja or sneak in a creature, Satoru is going to trigger.
Oh, I thought Sneak was casting.
It still enters.
If none
Sneak
of...
is casting, but the creature still enters.
But if it says if none of them were cast.
Oh, you're right. So Sneak doesn't trigger it.
Sneak doesn't, but Ninjutsu does.
But Ninjutsu does, and anything else that brings something back from the graveyard, as long if it's one creature, you're going to get a card from that. And remember that with our commander out, chances are you're going to get two triggers off of this. So if you are using Ninjutsu, which is far more represented in the deck than Sneak is.
Way more, yeah.
So you're going to get 2 triggers off of that. It's a good note though that Sneak doesn't count as this because it was cast.
Right.
So it is. And I had not put that together either because there's a lot of words on this card, and it is easy to miss at least one of the hoops that you have to jump through. So you're right. Sneak does count as casting, and so you won't be able to do that there. But any of the other things that the deck does is going to get you card draw here.
Do you know what I like about this card the most? It is a 2/3 with menace.
Yep.
It is a small body that can get it.
Hard to block. That's right. and they make it really any inclusion in the deck that has that added factor, that is a cheap creature that has some kind of evasion and is hard to block, immediately increases the value of that card. Yep. So you might look at Satoru and say the amount of times you're going to draw cards from it feels low. I promise that's not true. Like the amount of times you're going to go draw cards from it is actually fairly decent. But it is also a cheap creature that has evasion, which you want a lot of in the deck.
Sure is. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and dive into our ramp picks, and the ramp card that I picked is Ornithopter of Paradise. It is
weird.
It is a 2-mana artifact creature Thopter. It is 0/2 of flying, and it says tap, add 1 mana of any color. The cool thing about this card is it's an evasive 0/2, and sometimes I like to send a message of attacking with the Birds of Paradise, and you're getting to do the same thing, but the message will be, I don't know, I'm also gonna ninjutsu in Shorikai. We talked about not Shorikai, what's her name, Yoriko. Yes, we're gonna go ahead and do that instead. Block it. That's the secret. Right. Block it.
But it flies, and not everybody has a flying blocker early in the game. So here it is. It is just a 2-mana. It's a 2-mana rock. Yes, it's a creature, so you can't use it immediately. But the upside of having a small evasive creature, a cheap evasive creature, makes it way more valuable.
Sure does. Alrighty, Tim. What cards did you pick?
He's making fun of me because I have more than one card in this spot because I wanted to explain a synergy that I think is very cool. So the ramp spell that I want to talk about is Patchwork Banner. This is a 3-mana artifact from Bloomburrow. When it enters, you choose a creature type. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1, and it taps for any color mana. So in a Typal or Kindred deck, this is solid. Like, I know that people are kind of cold on 3 mana rocks. It's got to do just the right amount of upside to make it impactful, right? And in this case, having a 3-color deck, having a mana rock that makes any color feels very good. But that bonus, that +1/+1, is a lot stronger than you think. And the card that I want people to know about that goes incredibly well with it is a new card, and it is Donatello Gadget Master. So this is normally a 3-mana 3/2, and it's a Mutant Ninja Turtle, if you didn't know what the set was about. And it sneaks for 1 and a blue. Whenever Donatello deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of target artifact you control. Now, you're going to look at my list if you see it and think to yourself, there's not enough artifacts in this deck to warrant Donatello being there. And first, I'm going to tell you, shut up. But
you're wrong.
That you're probably right, but that I think I just love this synergy so much that as I continue to evolve the deck, I'm going to continue to prioritize artifacts because of how much I love Donatello, just on a personal basis, and also this card. So Donatello copying Patchwork Banner, and remember, we're talking probably about doing it twice. Right. So if we have Splinter on board and we have Patchwork Banner on board and we manage to sneak Donatello in, now we have 3 Patchwork Banners. Now we get extra mana because they enter untapped, the new copies do. So we get mana value and advantage because when those come in, and now all of our creatures are +3/+3. I love this synergy so much, and as I said, I'm going to continue to prioritize putting more artifacts in the deck that Donatello can copy, just because of how much I like this card.
But yeah, I mean, there's like just copying Roaming Throne seems pretty solid. Even if it's just like an Ornithopter of Paradise, that's also pretty solid. Or why not have multiple Soul Rings? Like, that seems good. Silver Shroud costume, like, come on, guys. Like, there's so many good things that it can copy. Like, sometimes, yes, you might not have an artifact to copy, but a lot of the times, like, I think it's okay. I think it's okay to have, like, you have, I think, a total of 10 or 11 artifacts.
Yep, that sounds right.
Yeah, because you have 7 regular and 3 artifact creatures.
4 Baleful Strix.
Oh, 4. I forgot about that one. So you have 12. And that's enough. Like, if you're like 15 cards in or whatever, the chances of you getting 1 artifact is good enough for me.
And since all of them are worth targeting, because what we've established here is any of the mana rocks are remarkable hits for Donatello. Yeah. Any of them. Like, if you're hitting Soul Ring with it, you're getting a huge mana advantage. If you're hitting Arcane Signet, same thing. And I have the 3 talismans in the deck. Silver Shroud costume is making copies and making your creatures permanently unblockable. Like, all of that seems really good. Baleful Strix is drawing you cards. So every artifact in the deck, if copied by Donatello, is super, super good. And I want to remind everybody that you can copy treasures. So, and there are several other ninjas in the deck that generate treasures. So as long as you've got at least 1 treasure sitting around, he can at least copy treasures, and then he's another copy of the treasure generating ninjas. So I love this combo. I got one more thing for you. Add artifact lands. Oh yeah. The cost of Sea of Synod, cost of like those 3 plus Darksteel Citadel is enough. I don't think you need the artifact lands that enter tapped and are indestructible or whatever. I think that's too many. Plus tap lands are kind of difficult to play with. But no, I think if you just were to throw in those 4 artifact lands, you definitely have enough. And targeting your lands is crazy good ramp because no one's going to touch them, according to the bracket talk. Yeah, I mean, people blow up artifacts, though. So I like a couple of your ideas. I would be disincentivized from playing the non-indestructible ones for that reason. But I agree with you that tap lands really, really turn me off in terms of inclusion. And the mana base in this deck is pretty strong as it is. So I'd have to really think about that. But I think it's a solid thought. Like, can I get some artifact lands where the opportunity cost is pretty low? And I still think that the upside of being able to make a couple of land copies is pretty amazing. Yeah.
So, alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and go into the single target interaction now. And mine isn't anything like crazy special. The ninja I picked was Throat Slitter. Ooh, that sounds painful. It is, excuse me. Throat Slitter is a 5-mana creature. It's 4 and a black. It can ninjutsu for 2 and a black. And then it says Throat Slitter deals whenever Throat Slitter deals combat damage to a player, destroy target non-black creature that player controls. I will say the problem with it is it does say non-black, and I mean, black is a pretty common color. It's one of the 5, right? It's one of the stronger of the colors too. So sometimes you're going to be like, oh, there's not a good target for me to hit, or I can't destroy what I want to destroy, but it's at the cost of like a ninja slot. So the fact that you can just do it on a whim really makes it a lot better. And it's a classic. I remember when this card was new and it was amazing back in the day.
It really embodies what makes ninjas fun, right? Is the like, what is it gonna be aspect of it, you know? And of course, Commander plays with a lot of instant speed interaction. So if it really is that scary and somebody's got the removal, they're gonna deal with it, and that's always something you're gonna deal with in creature-based decks like this. But like when I get the thing in, and they're not able to deal with it, if the timing works out really well, you are able to do something that feels very game changing as a result, and ninja in a creature that is going to take out, again, let's consider that this might actually take out 2 threats. It's important to note here, and this is true about a couple of the interactive spells and it's true about Throat Slitter, that when it deals combat damage to a player, you have to destroy target non-black creature that player controls. So it can't
I missed that part. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, and really, I miss it a lot too. It's true about a couple of the interactive spells here, where it's like I also have to, so it's narrower than it seems, because it might feel kind of oppressive to have this kind of ability built into a combat damage trigger,
sure,
especially when you can give the creature unblockable. But I have to be attacking the person that I'm trying to remove the creature of, and it does have the non-black clause. So there's a couple of different kind of power down throttles here that are helping keep this card realistic and decent.
All I have to say is Throat Slitter can't touch my phage, so I'm happy.
Quite true. Our second option in the single targeted interaction, Ken. This is a brand new card from the main set. This is Turncoat Kunoichi, which is an adorable mutant ninja fox. So this is 2 and a white for a 3/2 that essentially is a creature that exiles another creature and it returns when it comes back. That's what it does at the floor, right? So it reads, when this creature enters, choose target creature in opponent's control, exile that creature until this creature leaves the battlefield. And then if you sneak it, which costs 1 more in this case, 2 a white and a black, if you sneak it, just exile the creature instead. So it turns into just a straight up removal spell, a straight up exile based removal spell, if you are sneaking it in for the 4 mana cost. So remember, when we are getting that enters the battlefield trigger, if our commander's on board, we might be getting this twice. So exile-based removal, obviously on commanders, it just go back to the command zone. But for other on-the-board threats, exile-based removal is very important to get rid of some things that can really close out games. So I think this is a solid new card.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I like the fact that it's like an utter end almost. On a creature. I like it a lot. Yeah. It's a shame it can't be instant speed, but again, this deck isn't really going to be spending a lot of its time with open mana. It's going to try to play the small creature, swing in, and then
2 or 3.
Something. Yeah, 2 or 3 is all you need. Sometimes 4.
That's true.
So I just like the card, and we're going to go ahead and go into the mass interaction now. We're going to talk about Rise the Palisade. It is a 4 and a blue sorcery. Choose a creature type. Return all creatures that aren't of the chosen type to their owner's hand. Wow, one-sided board wipes are really good.
Yeah.
Especially when they only cost 5.
It's true. This one's unfortunately a little expensive, which makes me dislike it. But again, if you're getting something that's one-sided, it ought to be expensive in a lot of cases, and
Yeah.
you're obviously built around it. These cards, like the typo-based cards, as I said, are not going to be as good right now.
Right.
Because I think there's a higher likelihood you're going to play against a Ninja Turtle deck in the near future. So knowing that and kind of picking your battles, like maybe I'm not bringing out the Ninja deck unless I'm the only one at the table, because then my board wipes get a lot better, specifically this one. So my other gripe about this card is that, and it's true about a lot of the Kindred cards, is that they're expensive. Like they're not cheap board wipes, and again, because of how their high utility, it makes sense. But this one is just a printing thing, where it's like it was only printed in the Lord of the Rings in the commander part of the set. So this really small run. I really hope this card gets a reprint soon, because it is a little bit expensive for my taste.
Yeah, but it's still really, really solid. So, Tim, what's your mass interaction spell?
So I picked something that qualifies as a mass interaction spell, but is just, I would argue, the single greatest reason to have white in a ninja deck. And the card I'm talking about is Akroma's Will. This is 3 and a white for an instant that says choose one of these two different options, and if you control a commander as you cast it, choose both. And the options are: creatures you control gain flying, vigilance, and double strike until end of turn, or creatures you control gain lifelink, indestructible, and protection from all colors until end of turn. So you can consider this to be a protection spell if it is damage or destroy based removal. But it also gives your creatures protection from all colors and double strike, which doesn't make them perfectly unblockable, but it makes them mostly unblockable. And if somebody doesn't have any colorless or artifact creatures on board, it makes them fully unblockable. So the benefit here is you now have a spell that's giving your all of your creatures safety and unblockability, and the best keyword in Magic, double strike.
It's pretty solid, especially when most ninjas have, when they deal combat damage triggers, that would be triggering twice because your commander. Ask me how I would know this will end a game. I'm not salty about it or anything.
No,
honestly, I wasn't salty about that game.
No,
it's the other games we played.
It's amazing. This card, like I'm telling you, I actually was looking on EDH Rec, and this is really low on a lot of people's lists. Like the percentage of decks that are including this is like 14. And I got to tell y'all, if there's one card I'm going to tell you to make sure that you have in your Esper Ninja deck, in your Splinter Radical Rat deck, it's this one. Add this card. It is the game ender. If you wait till the right moment, hold up counter magic to stop your opponents from foiling your plans, rock a Chroma's Will as in a situation where you're confident that they can't stop you, you will probably win the game on the spot. I think it's a great
card. You should have said spoiler warning, because you just spoiled the end of that game. Oh, make sure you have counter magic.
No, you did. Because I was being vague enough that they don't necessarily know that that's what happened, and also the end of the game is literally a short that's already been released. So
go watch the full video right there. It's in the things below. Yeah, do it. Okay, thank you. And when after you watch that, finish the episode, or finish this first and then watch that. Whatever works best for you.
Yeah, whenever you have time.
And don't watch it while you're driving,
please.
Okay, where are we on the? Oh, there we are. Okay, so now we've covered the basics of the deck. So we're going to talk about the specific goals and card categories for the deck based for your deck here, and we call this the non-basics. So Tim's going to break down the 4 categories that he picked, and then we're going to gush about more cards. And we love about gushing about more cards.
So my non-basic categories. The first one is, that's just a little unblockable guy. You don't need to worry about him. My second one is, I want to make blocking extra hard for you. The third non-basic categories is ninjas use value strike. And my fourth non-basic category is ninjas steal your stuff. So the first category again is just a little unblockable guy. Don't worry about him. You don't have to think about that little guy at all. So what was your pick for a little unblockable guy?
So my little unblockable guy, and this isn't like a mind-blowing pick, right? The card I picked is Changeling Outcast because I can speak English, guys. It is a 1-mana 1/1 that says Changeling. This card is every creature type. Changeling Outcast can't be blocked and can't be blocked. Sorry, can't block and can't be blocked. So, turn 1, you play this. Turn 2, you have yourself a ninja. Or turn 8, you play this, and turn 9, you have a ninja. Or you have Yoriko out, and it just adds to your Yoriko count.
Yeah. This one is like literally unblockable, right? So there's a lot of like cheap pseudo, like it's just evasive creatures or pseudo unblockable. But this one is actually unblockable, and it is also actually a ninja. So like as far as synergistic qualities with the deck, this hits all the marks. It is the best of this category. So again, if you're just not aware that this card is out there, Changeling Outcast is an obvious include for a ninja deck because it is in fact a ninja among every other creature type, and it makes it comes back out after you ninja something in for just a single black mana.
So Tim, what's your just a little unblockable guy?
He's just a little guy. You don't have to worry about it. So my choice is the cheapest possible little unblockable guy, and it is our old favorite Ornithopter. I figured Ornithopter Paradise is already in there. Let's have the OG as well, right? Mm-hmm. So Ornithopter is just a 0-mana 0/2 flyer. So it's not doing any damage, but again, not all of our opponents are going to be playing with flying creatures, especially early in the game. This is like one of the qualifiers I really want to put in there is that this might not be great in the late game, and I recognize that, and everybody knows that as the board starts to get clogged up, people are more likely to have flying blockers or to have reach blockers. But Ornithopter is a 0-cast creature that does have an evasive ability, so oftentimes you're going to play this the turn before you want to ninja something in. You might not even do it on 1 or 2. You might play Splinter on 3 with an Ornithopter backup. And then on 4, now you've got a pseudo unblockable or at least evasive creature that you can then get a ninja in on. So I just think the fact that this costs 0 is what makes it so powerful. And it's an artifact for our old friend Donnie to copy.
He's not the best copy target, but you know what?
He's probably literally the worst, actually.
Yeah,
but
it is the worst. But
it is the worst thing to copy, but still fine.
So you just return the token to your hand. Yeah, you don't get the token back and you can't recast it, but
that's right.
I'll get rid of a 0/2 to, I don't know, talk about other ninjas we'll talk about later.
Yeah. To cheat in a much more expensive creature for cheap. Yes, I will. Thank you.
Yes, I will. Alrighty. So now we're going into making blocking extra hard.
Extra hard.
And the card that I picked is a classic. It is Cover of Darkness. It is a 2-mana enchantment, 1 and a black. It says, as Cover of Darkness enters, choose a creature type. Creatures of the chosen type have fear. So to explain what fear is, it means you cannot be blocked by creatures except black creatures and artifact creatures. So, turns out, not everyone has black creatures, and not everyone has artifact creatures. And the fact that this only costs 2, makes it so good. It's so good.
Cost very low, like 2 mana early in the game. Get this down, and again, it doesn't make your creatures perfectly unblockable, but against one of your opponents, against somebody, it's going to make it almost impossible for them to block. And really, it's not even necessarily that you are trying to remove that person, but having one opponent that you have open attacks on is going to allow you to get the incremental value you need to get the engine rolling over the course of a couple of turns. So Yeah, and really, there is also scenarios where this does straight up make your creatures unblockable. If you're sitting at a table and you're the only deck that has black, now if your opponents don't have artifacts, they're boned.
Yep. It's a solid one. So, what's the card you picked, Tim?
So I picked the most cost prohibitive card in the deck. It literally far and away the most expensive on paper,
Ew,
like in dollars, card in the deck because it's only got one printing and it's a super special secret layer and it's very, very recent. So it's very popular right now. It is Jin Sakai, Ghost of Tsushima. So this is from a video game that I've never played, but the card is bananas. So it's a samurai, but it synergizes too well with what we're doing. So one an Esper, one a white, a blue, and a black. It's a 2/4 human samurai. When Jin Sakai deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Whenever a creature you control attacks a player, if no other creatures are attacking that player, choose one. It gains double strike until end of turn, or it can't be blocked this turn. So this effectively, read through the lines here, even the turn it comes down, if you have 3 creatures on board and you attack a different player with each one of those creatures, they all get unblockable.
That's really solid.
And that's the floor.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bare minimum of what this is capable of. If your creatures are evasive for a different reason, now they're getting double strike instead. And you get to pick a different one for each of the creatures as long as you're only attacking each player with one. And there are a lot of cards that synergize with this in particular, with this idea that we're trying to get at least one attacker in on each of our opponents. So it just sits in that sweet spot of really synergizing with everything we're trying to do. And on top of it, it itself, the turn after it comes out, can attack as one of those creatures. And if it's the only one attacking that player, it makes itself unblockable and it's drawing you a card when it hits. So yes, you're not getting the double trigger on this. Yes, I know all of that. Save your rage for somebody else. This card's amazing. Probably not going to buy it for the deck because it's way too expensive, but it's really good.
There is one downside, is it is an attack trigger, so the ninja that you're sneaking in doesn't get the either double strike or unblockable. So because I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh, that's really cool, you get to actually like give the ninja that you bring in double strike, but that's not the way it works, and it makes me sad.
Yeah, but like this is what gets you through at the end.
Of course.
This is like once you've ninja'd in a bunch of creatures that have damage triggers, now they're already on board. I still need to get them through later.
Right.
So that is a specific scenario where it's like, let's agree that this is incredibly strong.
Oh, it's very good. That's not what I was saying. It just makes me sad. It makes it not worth the $75 to put it in here. Right? Like,
yeah.
Because like if you have a Cover of Darkness, oh my god, and you can just send all your ninjas, well, like at least one ninja for each person with double strike, and then all those triggers are getting doubled. That's amazing. So like just because in a vacuum it doesn't do what I wanted to do does not make it like awful.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, it's that complaint about it is just very narrow. Right? That's one specific situation where yes, it is not necessarily, but really, it's making the creature unblockable that's allowing you to ninja in something else. So it's still doing what the deck wants to do.
Oh, of course. Alrighty, so now we're going to use ninjas use Value Strike. So
I love Value Strike. It's my favorite secret move.
It's very good. So the ninja that I picked was Grave Shifter. It's probably a ninja none of you guys have ever heard of. It is 3 and a black, creature shapeshifter with changeling. And it says when Grave Shifter enters the battlefield, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Creatures are going to die. That's the way Magic the Gathering works. And the way I'm looking at this card is when you play it, you're getting 2 creatures back because that's probably what's going to happen. So for format, I mean, you could just play Raise Dead, which is a 1-mana sorcery that does the same thing, but it's not a 2/2 body. That's a ninja.
And And let's not forget that a deck like this is capable of getting this creature back to my hand.
Yep. You
If
bounce it back
I
to your
make it
hand, you do it again.
unblockable and ninja or sneak it back to my hand, then I get to use it again. So it is a very strong value engine that, you might look at a 4-mana creature that gets a creature back and think to yourself, that's just a limited card. That's not good enough. But with our commanders getting 2 creatures and this deck, you're going to kill my creatures. My creatures are going to die.
Yep.
So being able to get some back from the graveyard is very meaningful. I've also run into, and this is just fish bowling, but I've run into a lot of scenarios where I actually end up with way too many cards in my hand, and I end up discarding a bunch of cards, which is not necessarily a bad thing because I do have cards that reanimate as well. So, but being able to having this in the deck allows me to get stuff that I ended up pitching earlier back later in the game when I'm actually able to use it. So this was kind of a later include as I was brewing the deck, but I do think it's solid.
I like it a lot. That's why I picked it. Alrighty, Tim, what's the card you picked?
Mine is quite explosive. One of the coolest rares in the deck. And I'm not even exactly 100% sure what set this comes from, because it's definitely a commander set of some variety. The card is Oroki Soul Reaver. So it's 6 mana and its normal mana value. It's a 5/4 Snake Ninja Rogue. And ninjutsu's for 4, for 3 and a black. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token and manifest the top card of that player's library. So it makes treasure tokens, right? So, and this is one of those cards that I was getting at before, where if you hit all 3 of your opponents, it's going to trigger 3 times. If you have Splinter out, it's going to trigger 6 times. And you're going to get 6 untapped treasures and 6 2/2 manifested creatures, which are the top card of your opponent's library. Now, anybody who listens to us know that we play primarily over spell table, which this card is very hard to play over spell table because manifesting your opponent's top creatures. But I chose to have it in there anyway, and I will tell everybody that if I were ever to play this over spell table, I would just ask my opponents to exile the top card of their library and, kind of keep it aside.
2/2 creature.
It's just a 2/2. I never have any intention on flipping it face up, even though I could because I have treasures. I could flip other people's creatures up. If I'm not playing this in person, I'm probably just doing it that way just for ease of access, and that's still really good.
Yeah.
That's still really good.
Yeah, it is.
So again, if I have 3 attacks in and one of them turns into an Oroki Soul Reaver, I now get 6 treasures and 6 new creatures. It is very strong.
That's really strong. Now, Tim, I'm going to give you a hint from which set this is from. Look at the hat the guy's holding.
No, is it?
Look at the hat. It's going to break your heart. It's going to break your heart.
I didn't realize the
Take
cowboy set had ninjas. Oh, it's a rogue.
Yeah.
It's a rogue.
It's a rogue.
No, I won't because it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's also a ninja.
Oh,
well,
man.
the Oroki Soul Reaver isn't wearing the cowboy hat. He is taking the soul away from a cowboy. So he is here to destroy the Outlaws of Thunder Junction set.
Okay. I can get behind that.
That is my headcanon.
And then we're going to talk about ninjas steal your stuff. Hide your kids, hide your wife. Because they're going to come
stealing out here. Yeah.
They be stealing out here. And the card that I pick is Shark Shredder Killer Clone. I got to find him over here. I forgot where he is. Here he is. Oh, this card's great. I love this card.
It's super great.
It's a 4 mana 4/4 legendary creature, Shark Octopus Ninja, because
of course it is.
Of course it is. It can sneak for 5, 3 and 2 black, has first strike, which could be relevant. And then whenever Shark Shredder deals combat damage to a player, put up to 1 target creature card from that player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It enters tapped and attacking that player. Dang, dude.
Yeah. And again, let's imagine getting this twice.
Yep.
And really, like it, there's the Ink Eyes. Everybody probably remembers of Ink Eyes of old does a similar trick where it's stealing something from your opponent's
Hmm.
graveyard. But this one, because they gave it first strike, you get combat in with that creature immediately
Hmm.
because it enters the battlefield before regular damage goes off, which makes it just a little bit sneakier and a little bit more fun. It's a relatively like low value card in a lot of different situations, but in this deck, it's just so much fun, and I love playing against graveyard decks and
Hmm.
doing their thing for them.
Yep.
That's very rewarding. Like, oh, you put all these fantastic creatures in your graveyard.
Thank you so
I'm interested.
much.
I'm interested in trying one of those.
Yeah, thank you so much. I always wanted to try this card, and now I didn't have to buy it. It's such a fun card. Alrighty, Tim, what's the card that you picked?
This is another new card, and again, like I actually didn't get to get this out in the game that we played, and I'm very interested to see how this plays at a commander table. I think it's going to be an enormous amount of fun. The card is Krang and Shredder. So this is a 6 mana, 6/7 Ultram human ninja. So it's a ninja, so it does get the double triggers. So 6 mana, the two blue-black hybrid. When Krang and Shredder enter or attack, each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent left the battlefield under your control this turn, you may cast a card exiled with Krang and Shredder without paying its mana cost. So what's important? Yeah, what's important about this is you get to steal stuff from your opponent's deck, but you are also kind of milling them
Mm-hmm.
because they don't get the cards back. They're just
Nope.
it's just exiling cards from the top of your opponent's library, each opponent's library
Mm-hmm.
on enter or attack. And you know, if you've had something leave, like I don't know, maybe getting sneaked out or ninja'd out or just dying,
Oh man.
at the end of turn, you're going to get to cast one of those spells. So I'm
For
very curious to
free.
see how this plays for free. For
For
free.
free.
Hmm?
I really want to see this thing just go ham.
Yeah, I do too. And again, the fact that you get to do it twice makes me incredibly happy. So I look forward to a game where I get to see this one actually go off.
Yeah, pretty solid. Alrighty. So that was the non basics. And now we're going to dive right into one of my favorite sections of all time. And that is going to be the honorable mentions. We love gushing about cards. So we wanted to pick cards that didn't necessarily fit in a category, or we had so many good choices we had to gush about even more of them. So, Tim, what is your first honorable mention?
So my first honorable mention is the Legend of Korok, and this is from Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's a saga, so it's 2 and 2 blue. First 2 chapters say scry 2, then draw a card. Third chapter says exile this saga, then return it to the battlefield transformed under your control. The transformed side is Avatar Korok. And Avatar Korok is a 4/3 that says whenever you cast a spell, create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token with this token can't block or be blocked by non-spirit creatures. It also exhausts and water bends 20 to take an extra turn. So I lied a little bit earlier when I said there weren't any extra turn spells in this deck. There is one, and it is this one. And it is a lot of hoops to jump through to get there. But the real reason that I included this is that it generates 1/1 colorless pseudo unblockable spirit creatures whenever you cast the
Mm-hmm.
spell. So, and really, I think that this card is just sneaky good, just in general, in Commander, because you do draw a card the turn it comes in, and you scry 2 first. You scry 2, then draw a card the turn it comes in, and then at the beginning of your first main phase on the second turn, and then on the third turn, you've got this very remarkable global effect that's now generating pseudo unblockable creatures for the rest of the game until they deal with that creature. So, I wanted to include this as a way to kind of just get some card advantage early in the game, and then to get something that generates creatures that are difficult to block later on. So I think it's a little bit of a spicy include, and I know some people would look at it and go, I don't really buy that being in the deck, but I think that it really synergizes well with what the deck's trying to do.
The fact that it's not like you get one colorless spirit at the beginning of your upkeep. No, it's every time you cast a dang spell. And Tim, How do you win games of Magic? You draw cards, cast spells. That's how you win.
But this does the first thing, and then it does the other.
Then it does the
It does
thing.
the other thing.
So-
Yeah, then it does the other thing. And let's remember, kids, that once this is on the back half, after you've exhausted it to take another turn, you can attack with it and then ninja it back to your hand and then play it back on its front half.
Oh, stop.
And
no.
that's not infinite turns. It's not even close.
Don't tell
you
people
can
this.
get multiple uses out of the abilities if you're really sneaky with it. So I just think that this is a build around for me. It's kind of a sneaky secondary commander in the 99. Not really, but I do think it's fun to build around.
Oh, because it's almost infinite turns. Because I mean, you would need a lot, right? So you attack with it, you bounce it. After you have your extra turn on the stack, you play it again that turn, and then the extra turn. So everyone will get one turn to your 3 turns.
Yeah.
If that's not winning you the game, you should just probably quit playing Magic.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
And that's, let's be clear, that's Super Magic Christmas Land. That is so probably not happening. But when it does, when I pull that off in a game, everybody's gonna hear about it because I'm gonna be so happy.
Oh, don't we just love Christmas?
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, so my honorable pick was it's a classic ninja. It is Fallen Shinobi. It is a blue and a black. Zombie ninja. I wonder why we picked it. It has ninjutsu, 2 and a blue and a black. Whenever Fallen Shinobi deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles the top 2 cards of their library. Until end of turn, you may play those cards without paying their mana cost. Look, it's going to double. You're going to cast 4 things. And if I'm not mistaken, it says play, so you can play their lands, so you're not going to miss your land drops ever again. You're going to get so much extra freaking value. It's unreal. This card will win you the game. 100%. It wouldn't be as broken if it says you can play that spell and spend mana as though it were any color, because then you're having to spend that resources. But first of all, it's doming someone for 5.
Yeah.
Right? Not a small number. And I don't know about you, but I like to put good cards in my decks.
You do.
I really do. And I'm pretty sure people that you like to play against like to put good cards in their deck.
They might.
So why not play all of their cards? Yeah, this card's great.
Yeah, it's so much fun, and we're always very conscious of can I play the card over spell table, and this one's very much on the easier side of that, because you're not giving away information that you shouldn't already be giving away. You do have to use tokens to play other people's cards, but you just get some infinite tokens.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Right. Get some infinite tokens and just write the name of the card on there. It's not that hard. But it really does allow. I love a deck that allows you to play with cards you don't normally get to play with, and this is the definition of that, because I get to play with my opponent's decks a little bit.
Yeah, it's such a fun card to play. Alrighty, so Tim, what's the last honorable mention?
Spoiler alert, this card sees a lot of play and does some amazing things in the gameplay video. One more time, you can find that link in the description. This is Nashi Moon Sage's Scion. This is from the newest Kamigawa from Neon Dynasty. 1 and 2 black is its regular mana value. It ninjas for 4 for 3 and a black. It's a 3/2. When it deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of each player's library. Until end of turn, you may play one of those cards. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than paying its mana cost. So you can play a land if that makes the most sense, because sometimes you hit things that just don't matter, but sometimes you hit things that you definitely want to play. I hit a Cultivate off of the top of my opponent's library. Fantastic. I'll pay 3 life to dig 2 lands out of my deck. And the fact that with our commander, we're going to see this happen twice, chances are I'm getting 2 free spells for hopefully not an enormous amount of life, but I'll pay a decent amount of life for free value early in the game. So Nashi can really get you ahead early on if you have that opponent who can't block your creatures. If you have it set up and somebody's not able to get this, you're only hitting one person, but you're getting value off of everybody's library.
I'm still mad that you didn't play that Mana Flare, Tim.
I know. Zombie's mad I didn't play as Mana Flare.
Man, because let me tell you, that Mana Flare is such a good card.
Yeah, it's super good in a 5-color deck that is a big mana deck that really is hungry for that mana. So yeah, your old friend Jet decided not to play the Mana Flare, and it was a strategic move, I promise.
Still breaks my heart. But yeah, Nashi Moonsage, such a fun card. Again, it's the whole I'm gonna play your deck. It's another way of doing it, and it's like a cheaper version of it too, right? Like, well, sort of. They both cost 4 to ninjutsu in.
Listen, I think it's worth noting here that Nashi hits you as well. Like you can just play spells from your deck. Like if the stuff that your opponents are giving you is just not incidentally any good, maybe you're just playing another card for it. Maybe I'm hitting, Kindred Discovery off of mine, and I go, yeah, I'll take a 5-life Kindred Discovery for free. Sometimes the fact that it hits your own cards is also incredibly valuable.
All right, let's have this little fun thought experience before we go into the last section. Who's better, Fallen Shinobi or Nashi? Because you're getting 2 things from one player, or 1 thing from the choice of 4.
So there's a very real world where the Fallen Shinobi hits 2 cards but doesn't get you 2 things. Like there's a very real world where it gets you a land and something, and usually
you're still getting 2 things.
Maybe if you haven't already played
your land drop, yeah.
And really, like, I'm very conscious of that, and that if I had a Fallen Shinobi, I might hold my land drop until after combat so that I can make sure that if I do hit a land. So
that's tough.
I think that I really love that Nashi also gets stuff out of our deck.
That's true.
Gets stuff out of my own deck, because I really think that there's a lot of scenarios where I hit stuff off of other people's deck and they're synergy pieces and they don't do crap for me.
Right.
So I think that, and Nashi, they both ninja in for the same amount generically.
Yep. So, and the thing that I was going to bring up,
Shinobi hits harder. Yeah.
Fallen Shinobi hits harder. Also, it doesn't cost you life. It doesn't cost you your life total, right? So, honestly, I'm just gonna put them both on like equal footing. Now, here's a bad thing against Nashi. It's legendary. You can't copy it as easily.
True.
Where Fallen Shinobi is pretty easily copied.
There aren't a lot of things that do that, but
it's still a thing that can happen. Yeah. And a thing to consider. So how about this? In the comments, let us know who you think is better, Nashi or Fallen Shinobi, because I want to see that argument.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Alrighty, so we're going to dive right into the cards to consider. These are cards that either just kind of like we considered it and either didn't make the final cut, or sometimes the card wasn't spoiled or whatever. I don't know what, and if that's the case with yours as well, but
it is in fact, yeah.
yeah. So there's reasons why that certain cards didn't pop up. The card that I picked is just a fun card. It's from Duskmourn. It is Silent Hall Creeper. It is a blue and a colorless, well, generic enchantment creature horror. Silent Hallkeeper can't be blocked. Whenever Silent Hallkeeper deals combat damage to a player, choose one that hasn't been chosen. First one is put 2+1+ counters on it. The second one is draw a card. And the third one, it becomes a copy of target creature you control. Here's where I like this card. 1, it's unblockable. 2, it draws you a card. 3, it can copy something, or it can be reset. And that's the kicker that makes it so much better. But again, like This Silent Hall Keeper could copy Fallen Shinobi, but not Nashi.
I see what you did there.
Mm-hmm. It's like I planned this all along.
Mm-hmm. I love this as an option, and I definitely looked at this card, but I will say that I didn't consider it nearly as hard. I think you made a really good pitch here as to like why it fits as well as it does, and I do think that having played the deck actually, against other people once now, and done a great deal of gold fishing with the deck, I really do think having an early creature that is actually unblockable is remarkably important, because then you're going to be able to get at least one ninja in and get the trigger off of it a couple of times if Splinter's on board. And really, the fact that this costs 1 and a blue means instead of activating Splinter, I can attack with this, ninja something in, and recast it instead of activating Splinter, right? So like it ends up creating a really good kind of redundancy with all that upside that you just described. That at some point it might turn into a copy of something else that's remarkably powerful. And if I'm not wrong, that happens on combat damage, right?
Yep.
Its ability. So if it has double strike, you can have it deal its damage, become a copy of something else, and then get a different damage trigger on the second hit.
That would be correct. So,
right,
the first one you make copy something, then it would change its power and toughness. So it could even be bigger. So, like, let's just use Fallen Shinobi as the example. So it hits for 1. You change it to Fallen Shinobi. Then it hits for 5.
And gets Shinobi's trigger.
And then you get Shinobi's trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Solid.
I think you may have convinced me. I don't think this is just a card to consider anymore. I think that this might be a card to include. There's a lot of reasons. The only drawback to this is it's not already a ninja, but there are lots of other creatures in the deck that are not ninjas.
Yeah, like Baleful Strix or something like that.
Right, because they are unblockable or hard to block.
The only thing that would have made it better if it was an artifact instead of an enchantment.
Totally agree. Oh, wow. Get out of town.
Ooh, one of your RAM pieces should totally be liquid metal torque. So you can turn something into an artifact. Come on, man.
I don't know.
Come on, turn whatever.
It's a 3-color deck. You want me to put a rock that only makes colorless?
Just one. Just one.
No, sir.
But then Donatello can copy whatever you want. I want you to remember that, Tim.
That's a lot of hoops to jump.
First of all, we're talking about Magic Christmas Land. That's where I live.
I'm just going to add more artifacts, okay?
Tim, that's where I live. That's what my door deck is. It's just Magic Christmas Land. Okay, that's where I live.
With all of the most powerful cards from Magic's history.
But it's Magic Christmas Land, Tim.
Yeah.
You have to get there somehow.
My card to consider was not spoiled when I built the deck, and I'm actually not entirely convinced that it should be in the deck, but I think flavorfully it should be, and it is Shredder Shadow Master. This is a 5-mana 5/5 human ninja. When Shredder attacks a player, for each other opponent, create a token that's a copy of Shredder tapped and attacking that player, except it isn't legendary, and you sacrifice those tokens at the end of combat. When Shredder deals combat damage to a player, that player loses half their life, rounded up.
Wait, what? That card's silly.
Yeah, that card's silly, and that card triggers twice.
Oh, it's a ninja.
Both times.
So when you attack, you get 2 copies for everyone.
For the opposing, for the people that you didn't attack with the regular one, both get 2 shredders, and both of those shredders half your life twice.
Oh my god, that's card silly. So that would essentially 3/4 someone's life total, then, right?
That's bad math. No, it's way more complicated than that.
So it wouldn't go for. Oh wait, hold on. So if you're at 40, it would deal 5 damage.
Yep.
So you would be at 35. Then
sorry. You started at 40. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So you would be at 35. It would half.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which would be 17.
18.
18 because it rounds up, and then you would take another 5, going down to 13, and you'd be at 7.
No, you don't. Oh, because I see. So no, if
Oh
you were
no,
just getting
because it
hit
would
by
only dealt
one,
damage once.
yeah, you don't take another 5. So if you're in the scenario where you're at 40 and you're getting 2 of these,
Oh, you would be at 15.
you take 10 and go to 30.
Yeah.
That cuts in half to 5. That cuts in half to 7. That cuts in half to 3. That cuts in half to 1.
Oh, right, because it's happening 4 times. Oh God. Just pay the math budget on the episodes that you have this deck, okay? Or have Shadow Master on the battlefield.
Yeah, block it.
Do not
Unless
die.
you can't.
Oh, interesting. Doesn't a blue and a generic make it unblockable?
It does if you have Splinter the Radical Rat out. So
Weird.
yeah, I don't know if this makes the final cut. The people are kind of hype about this
funny.
card. It's in the pre-con, and I'm very much of the mind that like doubling that trigger makes for some very 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 quickly removed life totals. So worth considering at the very least.
I think the card's funny, and it will end a game, make the game go by a lot faster. That's for sure. Yeah, that card's silly. I like it a lot. Again, I think you're 100% right. No, it doesn't need to be in the list, but like, it's cards like this that make the deck more fun. It makes it silly. It makes the table laugh after the fact. It's like, oh my God. Yeah, it's silly. And
Yeah.
I think that's the kind of magic where I like to live.
I totally agree. All right, friends, opponents, we are all out of pizza and out of extra lives. So time to save and exit the game for now. That's a video game reference for everybody who didn't get it. Thank you so much for spending time with us on the Head Games Commander podcast. Remember, you can support this show, all of our other content, by watching this video and our other videos on YouTube, checking out our streams on Twitch and YouTube. You can find all those links in the description.
But before we scoop things up, we want to hear from you, the think tank. What cards would you play in Splinter, Radical Rat? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, thank you for playing along with us. And have a wonderful day. Tubular dude! Isn't that what they say?
One of the things.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Bye.